Is it rude to stack the plates for the waiter when eating in a restaurant? It depends on the server. Seems to be about 5,050 between those who appreciate it and those who are bothered by it. I don't think anyone would consider it rude, since everyone seems to get that it's well-intentioned, but some find it annoying, especially if they have their own way of doing it that they prefer. As a server, I preferred it if the customer didn't stack. It was helpful if the location was a booth or certain customers were less accessible, if plates they finished were moved closer to my access point instead of over against the wall, so I didn't have to reach really far across the table though. Also helps if they put tableware neatly across center of the plate instead of precariously. A pet peeve was when they put napkins on top of a plate, so they obscured liquidy messes underneath that might spill when I picked up plates. I think there's a question of whether or not you do it right. Or if you stack too many at once maybe. I remember a couple of my waitstaff friends having opinions on it years ago, but for the most part they appreciated it. I've heard the same as others dependent on the waiter-waitress, but generally considered polite. What I'll usually do is stack like dishes together, small plate with small plate, big plate with big plate, but only 2 or 3 at the very most. Not trying to make a tower, we will also move everything closer to the end of the table so it's easier to collect and pile wrappers, napkins, and such in one spot or bowl. Mixed bag. Everyone has their own stacking system, so you can end up making more work, and now the plates you stacked are dirty on both sides, which they have to handle. By all means there's other ways to help out. Corral the trash. Some places don't let their servers carry more than a plate per hand because they think it doesn't look fancy enough. But 99 of places aren't like this. If you know what you're doing in making the stack stable and don't make it too heavy, it's great for the server. And even if you do it wrong, the gesture is always appreciated. At least then the plates are all together and the server doesn't need to awkwardly reach around the people sitting trying not to drop anything on someone's head. Have you been a waiter and know how to stack plates? Done right is a help, done wrong is an accident looking to happen. I've only ever heard that they appreciate it. I suppose it depends on the person. Don't stack plates. You don't know how they want them, but it is nice to make sure they are all reachable by server without difficulty like in a long booth. Please don't do that. If we need to restack, the plates are dirty on both sides, and I'd rather not have my hands slippery from your leftover sauce. The help intention is appreciated, but just don't. It doesn't save us time. Not leaving your table a mess and pushing your chair is enough consideration. In my experience as a former busser, it's not rude, but it's a pain on the ass for the waiter busser. They likely have a method or at least know how much they can carry, and you're messing it up. It's not rude, you're just not helping like you think you are. It's better to allow the buses or waiter stack as they see fit because they know best how much they can carry and balance. The best thing you can do is to make sure the silverware isn't scattered and crossed over each other. If the silverware is all in a row, it makes them quicker to pick up. I do the same. I actually clean up the table. I don't even think about, but I also straighten up shelves. Lol. I always appreciated it and most were genuinely very nice by trying to be helpful. Though, here's something else. I've witnessed plenty of instances where waitstaff remove used dishes from a table and immediately return to the kitchen window to gather fresh food to serve to other tables without ever washing or sanitizing their hands. Recently, I just left a job over this among other things. I do stack them. Smaller plates on bigger plates on plates. Group the utensils if I can. Quickly wipe the table and put all the crumbs on top plate. I worked as a waiter. We would only prefer the plates stacked if there was no cutlery between the plates. I don't think so. Ex-dishwasher and busboy honestly depends on who's bussing the table. For me it depends on the amount of dish, and if I have a bus bin or am grabbing it by hand. I will say I will always try to put all my dishware within easy grabbing distance, especially if I am sitting on the inside of a booth. And I will try to group things together, so that whoever's bussing won't have to also spend time collecting things from all over the table. Basically, I try to make my stuff accessible and organized, but not necessarily the way I would stack my dishware to bus it where I on clock. I think it's rude to the other people at the table. I don't want to have that much bustling and clanking at the table while we're eating. I seldom eat at a place where enough people finish at once. I also think it's highly likely I would make the stack too heavy to carry. I learned from the server's sub that most servers prefer that you don't. They have a system and they prefer to stack it themselves. However, most of them said that they understand people think they are being helpful. Yes, it's rude, not good manners. It's more tacky than rude and usually makes things worse. Also, a lot of people actually expect the server to thank them for it, which is incredibly annoying. If you stack them properly, all cutlery on top, bigger plate at the bottom, and smaller on top, yes fine, thank you very much. Otherwise let me do my job. I think it depends. If I'm at a chain restaurant, I'll stack some stuff. But if I'm at a high-end restaurant, I let them handle it.